Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Chan Meditation Center. Today's speaker is Venerable Chang-Hwa, who is the director of Chan Meditation Center, and she will be continuing her series of talks on the Śurangama Sutra. Today's lecture title is Why There Exists the Six Realms. Please join us in welcoming her by joining palms and bowing to the teacher.
Okay. Thank you for coming in person or online. Before we start, let's recite these verses together. Please join palms. The unsurpassed, profound, and sublime Dharma is difficult to encounter even in a billion aeons. Today, we see, hear, receive, and uphold it, vowing to fathom the true meaning of the Tathagata. Okay. So we are, the Śurangama Sutra has 10 chapters. We are approaching the end finally. So last two talks, we talk about levels of being. There are 12 types of beings due to different karma or different habitual behavior. So that's why we this type of thought or karmic thought will bring us to different types of beings. And also we talk about the Buddha's suggestion, how can we prepare ourselves to really get onto the Buddha path. And so Buddha talked about the 55 stages of Bodhisattva path. And today we will finish this chapter by explain why there are 7 destinations or 6 realms. So last talk, Buddha keep emphasizing, there are 3 sequential steps. That is very important. Looks easy, but it's very important for every one of us, and because that's the cause for the future, the consequence, which is the stage of dry wisdom. We need to get to the stage of dry wisdom before we get on to the 55 stages to Buddhahood. So this 3 sequential steps is very important. And these are the 55 stages to Buddhahood from the left to dry wisdom. And there are 44 stages and 10 grounds and equivalent enlightenment and then Buddhahood. So if you see the roadmap, okay, so from your left, the initial stage, like all of us, the ordinary people, and then there are some preparation stages to get to the dry wisdom stage. Then we start to practice with the 40 stages, 10 faith, 10 edibles, 10 practice, and 10 dedication. And all these 40 practices belongs to the supplement stage. Okay, and then we got on to the reinforcement stage. So we can reinforce what we accumulate from the previous 40 stages. That is the sprint, forbearance, summit, and warmth. And then finally, we see the path. Okay, that's a milestone that we see the path. And finally, we are ready to practice. And these are the 10 stages to the equivalent enlightenment state. We need to practice 10 paramita, and then finally get to the wondrous enlightenment, which is the Buddhahood. So this is the basic, this format or the roadmap that is shared by all different schools of teachings. And that is also mentioned in the Śurangama Sutra. And once we are clear about the roadmap of to Buddhahood, then we will have a clear guidance that we know that which stages we are and what kind of practice, what kind of the key to make progress, and these are all indicated in the Śurangama Sutra. And so after Buddha explained, finish all this roadmap about 55 stages to Buddhahood, Ananda still have questions. Okay, Ananda has questions from the beginning to the end. That is very important because Ananda is more like us, even though he is a great practitioner, but he's thinking or he asks questions for us. And that's why we know we don't understand. Okay, otherwise, if people don't ask questions for us, we will think we understand, but actually we don't. Okay, so Ananda's question continues. Okay, now if this wondrous, luminous, and absolute pure mind would universally perfect, in every one of us, in all things, then all things from the entire planet, with its forests and plants, to the most minute forms of wiggling life, would originally have the same essence of Buddha's true suchness. If Buddha's essence were genuine, how could there also be the worlds of hell's hungry ghosts, animals, asuras, men, and devas? So this question mentioned in different sutra, for example, the Sutra of Complete Enlightenment as well. Like, if we are originally Buddha, how come we are sentient beings right now? If our mind is originally pure, why we have afflictions right now? That's this key question. If we accept that this Buddha nature is universally, omnisciently everywhere, and why we are who we are, and when there are 6 realms, or the 10 realms, and why is that? And is that the question? Is that, do these destinies, realms, exist of their own accord, or do they come into being based on the deluded habits of living beings? Okay, this same question applies to the so-called Pure Lands. So all the 6 realms and all the Pure Lands, are they, somewhere and fixed that we can go to, or we created it by our karma? Okay, Pure Land, same thing. Western Pure Land, Eastern Pure Land, different heavens, are they a place? Like, we are in America, we want to go to Korean, we want to go to Japan. There is a place, right? And it's just a matter that we take the flights or we take the ship. How can we get there? But that's a place, the fixed place. We can go from here to there. And this question, same question. Okay, so there is a place called hell. And so after we die, if we do bad things, then we go to that hell, that place, or go to heaven, or, go to, Ashura place. Is that a fixed place, or we created it? Okay. And if we created it, how come my world, I created it, has you and him and her? Why you can come to my world and I can see you and you can see me and we can interact, and we will, I don't like you, you don't like me, the hatred, cravings, and all that happened between us, and we created more karma. Okay, but what happened, And these are Ananda's question, and continue. And, like there is a bhikkhuni, okay, called Fragrance of the Precious Lotus. he did a lot of bad things. She did a lot of bad things, and she claimed that, sexual activity is not violating or prevented us to get enlightenment, something like that. So eventually, after she died, he went to hell, and there is a king called Verudaka. He also did some. He kind of killed all Buddha's people, Gautama clan, killed everyone. And then eventually he went to hell as well. And there's a Satra. He wrongly preached the principles of emptiness, and eventually he went to hell as well. So do these hells have a fixed location, or do they come into being naturally, such that each being creates karma, and each undergoes privately the appropriate retribution? Okay. All people go to hell. Different people, because of different karma, different activity, they went to hell. And like I said, is that a fixed place that everybody go to, or created by the karma, our own karma? Is that a private place? And we received retribution there. Okay. And so Buddha said that, okay, here. Ananda, the fundamental nature of all being is truly pure, but because of their wrong views, they developed deluded habits, which are divided into two types: those that are internal and those that are external. Okay, so here is the chart. We have the wrong view first, and then we cultivate deluded habits. And these deluded habits have two types. One is internal and one is external. And what does that mean? Okay. The so-called internal habits or internalized habits are what sentient beings' inner somatic reaction. Okay, that's what's happening in our body due to all kinds of defiled desire. Okay, deluded passions are developed. If the passion keeps accumulating and repeating, the fluid of desire would be produced. And that's why when beings think of delicious food, their mouths are watering. Okay, so now one type of habit we cultivate or keep cultivating is the desire, the defiled desire or attached desire, that sensual desire for something. Okay, when we keep thinking of that desire, it becomes a craving, it becomes a passion. I have to, in the summer, I have to drink ice water. No ice water, I just feel miserable. Or, I want lemon something. And once the sensual desire become a passion or a craving, you don't really need to have that touch your sensual faculties. Then you already have physiological reaction to it. For example, the lemon. We all know the lemon is very sour, right? And then once we have the lemon and watering mouth and keep repeating it, there is an experiment, like the rat, the mouse experiment. If I ring the bell and then I give you food, and I ring the bell, I give you food, and eventually when the rat, the mouse, hear the bell, and then all his physiological reactions responds to the food. Okay, Same thing for the lemons, okay, or chocolate, or whatever you like to eat, okay. Even though you just think of it, or somebody mentioned it, you already mouth watering, okay. That means, be careful. That means that specific things already become your desire, you craving for it. So that's why when you mention it, or when you see the picture, your body already tell you and start to react. Okay, that's the things that we have to pay attention, because we have to really cut it off. And not just the food, okay? When they think of late acquaintance, be it out of pity or out of regrets, their eyes would fill with tears. For example, I remember when our master passed away, 2009, right? I think it's almost maybe 5 years. In 5 years, every time I saw Shifu in the video, every time we talk about Shifu something, I'm in tears. I want to cry. For many years. Same thing for my mom after she passed away. I think 3 years that I thought of my mom, then I wanted to cry. Okay, so that's the things. You know, you thought of someone, okay, then, and this become attachment, because it's my passion to Sifu, or my passion to my mom. So every time, you know, during that specific time, that every time they were mentioned, then I was in tears. And when they are longing for wealth, okay, their minds are severing and their whole bodies are shiny and moisturized. What does that mean? Actually, when we were young, right, we study hard because we want to get to the, you know, our dream school. We want to get a dream job. We want to go to that big company, and we want to become a professor, something. And or you want to get rich. Okay. And when you have that kind of longing, you will see that person is very energetic, and they are like shiny, and you know, you look at them very energized, and the face is shining, and you know, and shiny in a way, and moisturized. Like you just look shiny. Okay, that's because in your mind you have something, some goal, you want to pursue it, but that goal is more object, material possessions. You want to own money, you want to buy the house, you want to save money for a bigger house, you want to buy a big car, or, you know, you want to dating that girl, you want to, you know, that longing become an internal habit. So every time you wake up, you know what to do, because you are pursuing your goal to own something. And you become shiny, okay? You know, and when their minds are filled with lustful thought, their progressive organs, whether male or female, will secrete fluid in response. Okay, don't tell me you don't have, because according to the sutra, only the arhat cut off the lustful thought. That's why even for monastic, we have a lot of precepts and rules of conduct to prevent us to really engage, but still have lustful thought. Those lustful thought, even you look at the picture, even you like to look at a handsome boy or beautiful girl, that's already lustful thought. Okay, if you keep every day, you see the movie about men and women loving each other, every time, every day you see the pictures, you hear about a story about them, then you don't really need to engage in sexual conduct, or you already have secrete some fluid. Then you have to be careful, because that kind of lustful thought become your internal habits already. That habits created karma. Okay, and we have to turn it around. Otherwise, we cannot get on further to the Buddhahood. Now, so the internal habit is like the condensation process. Okay, all desires differed. We have different kinds of desires, but all are alike in condensation process. The wet fluid does not go upward. It flows downward naturally. This is what is called internalized habit. All the desire, all the craving, no matter what we are craving for, it will condense. You keep repeating it, then it will condense and become a fluid in response in our body, no matter it's mouth or different, your body, your skin shiny or whatever. And that fluid naturally will flow down. It's heavy, right? Down and not up. Okay. Keep condense our desire, our craving. And when this type of craving will produce fluid, that means it's already in you. It's habitual karma in you that we have to be aware of. Next, what is external habit? Okay, whereas external habits are what sentient beings outward aspirational thought. Okay, due to the sense of awe or vowed, aspirational thoughts are ignited. Okay, if the aspirational thoughts keep accumulating, a superior transcending energy will be generated. And that's why for those who observe the precept, their whole body is light and pure. See, instead of shiny and moisturizing, if you're pursuing, and you can say that you're longing for something is your vow too. But the vow is the object, the material you try to observe, own, that's more craving. Now is the so-called aspirational thought. It is something, more superior, more spiritual. You're not trying to own material things. You're trying to pursue your spiritual level. Then that's called aspirational thought. And for example, I wanted to become a good monk, and I observe my precepts, very carefully. And over the time, if I keep my precept purely, and you will feel, your body is light and clean and pure. Okay, so you have to experience it to know about what this mean. Okay, when it's not about the body weight. Okay, sometimes when you feel heavy, even though you are skinny, you're heavy, sometimes is because your karmic debtor come to you. Okay, we cannot see them, but somebody can see it. Or you have some burden, some ill thought, or some guilt in your mind. Actually, you will feel heavy and interpret, okay, in your mind. And just like very great. Your mind cannot get clean and bright. But once through practice, one day, okay, you overcome those karma. And suddenly I heard a lot of people feel like, oh, I feel light and clean. You know, this is the process. It's called aspirational thought. And why you will become clean and light? Because you vowed, you know, I want to overcome this with my practice, and this become an aspirational thought. And for example, for those who uphold the mantra and mudra, their sides are glowed and firm. What does that mean? For high practitioners, if you see Sifu or some Rinpoche or some High Lama, you will know that when you see their gaze, it's very glowed and firm. The eyes shiny and very firm. Sometimes you see their eyes, you just feel stabilized. Okay. And if your eyes like, you know, here and there, you know, switching constantly, then your mind is thinking about something. Okay, you don't have the aspirational thought and you don't follow your practice. So this, for those who uphold the mantra and mudra, and it become their habit, and it become externalized, it become their aspirational habit, then they have the power. When they go everywhere, their gaze, their sides are glowed and firm. And next, if they aspire to birth in the heavens, they will dream of flying or uprising. Okay, so if you want to born in the heavens, and for example, you follow the 10 precepts or the 10 virtuous deeds, and you hope that you can be born in the heavens. And oftentimes, if you follow, you know, you make these vows and you practice in the daily life, practice 10 virtuous deeds, and sometimes in your dream, you will dream that you are flying upward, you know. And if they are mindful of the Buddha lands, sacred versions will appear to them privately. So if you make vows, I want to be born into the Western Pure Land or Eastern Pure Land, I want to be born in the Buddha's land. And you just, this aspiration thought keep repeating in your mind, and it become your vow, your, you know, definite vows. And sometimes you will see, you know, Buddha or Bodhisattvas, or even the Pure Land revealed for you only. I heard a lot of people prostrate to Guanyin Bodhisattvas or do a lot of different practice, and they told me that I saw Guanyin Bodhisattva. You know, it's not when they are meditate, it's when she was prostrating. So I would say I'm so admired because his sincere vow and his aspiration thought, and then his, you know, effort for practice and something sacred show, okay? And then if they followed and served a wholesome teacher, they will even sacrifice their bodies and their lives. What does that mean? For example, if you found a good teacher like our Sifu, and no matter what Sifu asks you to do, like, okay, Sifu say, I need help. I'm organizing this retreat. I need people to help. And even though, okay, maybe you make a lot of money in the stock market. Every day you have to watch the stock market and you make a lot of money, right? But now Shifu say, I need help to organize this retreat. Then you have to sacrifice your time, right? And do a lot of seems logistic works, you know, it's not a very meaningful works, you know, a lot of works, a lot of key-ins, that kind of things. And then you would do it because you know you are doing it for Shifu to teach, okay? And you will just sacrifice the time for you to make more money, and you do these works. That's sacrifice your lives, your times, and your body. You know, that is when you find a wholesome teacher, you know, whatever you're doing with him or for him, it's cultivating the wisdom. Okay, that's called external habit, the aspiration thought. Okay, now, Ananda, this aspiration differed. We have all kinds of aspiration thought. You want to go to the Pure Land, okay, you want to follow a wholesome teacher, and you know, you want to serve people, all kinds of aspiration, different aspiration, but all are alike in lightness and uprising. The movement of floating does not sink downward, it actually ascends upward. This is what is called externalized habit. It's just like the water, you know, you heat up with your aspiration thought, and the water, you know, evaporate upward, right? So now, here, we all have aspiration thought, more or less. We all have craving, right? Defiled desires. We have a lot of passion for material things in this mundane world. So what happened when we are dying? Okay, here, and you know, like some water evaporate up, some condense, right? And who judge, who make the decision? You know, what happened when we die? We have both parameters. So Buddha said, Ananda, all beings in all worlds are caught up in an endless succession of births and deaths. While beings are alive, they follow their habits, right? We all follow our habits. And upon their death, they follow the flow of transformation by their karma. You see, we are alive right now, right? We have the power to make choices, and mostly based on our karma, based on our habits, right? So I like gray color, and you like blue, right? You pick whatever you like. And I like money, and you like fame. Okay, let's work on that by our way, right? You pursue whatever you like based on your habits, right? Our habits. But sorry, when we die, this is we have to follow the law of karmic transformation. So what happened? Oh, what happened? Okay, now the gas and liquid, you know, the condensation, evaporation, two process, right? So our passions, defiled passions, go condensation process, and our aspiration thoughts go evaporate. So when we die, upon our death, while some warmth remain in our body, there are some, you know, our body does not cool down all at once. It's gradually cool down. And it's the warmth, some warmth in our body, and all the virtues and wrongdoings during our lifetime. Okay, we do good things, we do bad things, right? The whole life. Upon our death, they all replayed before us. When we're dying, right? You will very fast replay of what we are doing, what we have done, good and bad. They oppose to death. We don't want to die, and we want to live longer. Okay. And while it's our wish, we don't want to die, we want to live longer. At the same time, two kinds of habit edge to compromise. We have external habit and we have internal habit. Remember that? The internal habit is the condensation of our desire, passions. And our evaporation is our aspiration thought. We want to go higher, spiritual higher, and craving lower. They edge together. They need to compromise. Who win, right? Who dominate? So that's why, when we go chanting for the dying people, it's very important that we remind them the aspiration thought instead of their craving, right? Don't mention money. Don't mention the wives and kids. And don't even mention your affair with lots of girls and men, generate more sexual desire, or mention you have a lot of wealth that you hide somewhere, you have to tell. These are the condensation, passion thoughts. These thoughts will drag them downward. Instead, we have to help those dying people. Your vow, your good deeds, go to pure lands, go to heavens, inspire them their aspiration thought so that they can go heaven. But there is a mechanism to compromise. It's not like, oh, we want to do it this way. There is a mechanism, okay? It's like there are 7 types, okay? If upon our death, okay, if we have 100% first, okay, 100% aspirational thought, okay, and then they will fly upward and be born in the heavens for sure, okay? And if they have both virtues and wisdom as well as vows to be reborn in the pure lands, like lots of Buddhists do, their minds will naturally open up and see all Buddhas in the 10 directions, then be reborn in the pure lands as their wish. Okay, that's our goal. We may not, get to the dry wisdom stage, and we may not become a bodhisattvas, but if we can, by all means, okay, with our willpower or with the help of others, if we can keep our mind 100% with aspirational thought, and that's what happened. And if we have more, like say 99 to 51% of aspirational thought and last passions, 1% to 49%, for example, then they will, okay, hold on. This is, it's the defiled passion, it's merged with few, I did the other way around, okay. So that's the last passions with the majority aspirational thought, okay. They will still fly upward, but not as far. You want to go to heaven? It's too far for you because some of the passion drag you down. And you want to go to Western Pure Land? Sorry, too far. You cannot get there. It's only the middle. Okay, so they become flying celestial beings or ghost kings of great power. So you cannot go to that high. You are in the middle. Okay. Sorry, this I have to correct the translations, the opposite. More majority is aspirational thought and last the passion, okay, the second type. And the third type is 50-50, half-half, if that happens, they will be born in the human realms, just all of us, okay? We cannot fly up and we won't fall down either. So on earth, we are all human beings. And where our intelligence comes from the brightness of the aspirational thought, and our stupidity from the dualness of the passions. See, we are all human beings, right? And we are wise, intelligent in some way, and stupid in other way, right? We are different. Some people are very smart in making money, but really bad, make friends with people. They can just look at the computer, make a lot of money, but they don't have friends, okay? So here is what happened. Your intelligence, your smart come from your aspirational thought. And then your dullness, your weakness come from your passion. Okay, so this is actually a very good guideline or index for us to examine ourselves, what happened, why I have this type of personality, and why I have this talent and not that talent. There is a reason, okay? We have to find what is our aspirational thought and what is our craving, the passions that drag us down. And we have to change our karma. Now, if we have more passions and less aspirational thought, okay, say, then we will be reborn in the realms of animals. You see, animal is very cute, right? They are very considerate, right? They are very close to human and always follow you, right? They attach to human too, right? Because they have more passions. And so if their passions are strong, okay, they will become fur-bearing beasts. Okay, for example, dog and cat, have the fur. They have more passion. If their passions are weak, okay, based on the criteria, they have more passion than aspirational thought. And among their passion, if they have strong passions, they will become dogs and cats kind of fur-bearing beast, or a tiger and lion, But if their passions are weak, they become birds kind. Birds, they have feather, the wings and feather kind. And so you will see that, the birds type, they have less attached to human beings. But the fur animals is more, attached, have more passions. And if this 70% of passion get more, and only 30% of aspirational thought, and it will become hungry ghost, okay? Always craving for something, okay? And they will be constantly burned, their karma. When they become a hungry ghost, they will constantly burned by the blaze and water, and burned by the fire, and the water will be harmful to them as well. So it's really bad situation, right? You're burned by the fire, and you want to drink water, but the water is hurting you as well. And so, and for hundreds of aeons, they will have nothing to eat or to drink. That's why, so they are hungry all the time. And that's why a lot of Buddhist ceremony in different traditions, we have a way, we chant the mantra to open up their throat so that they can eat and they can drink. Otherwise, when they try to eat something, burned, they cannot eat, okay? And the water come to them, become blood, stinging blood. So that's hungry ghost. And if we 90% of passion, craving, only 10% aspirational thought. And there are two types. If the passion are weak, they will enter a hell. They all will went to hell, okay? But a hell where suffering is intermittent. That means you suffer, suffer all the time, but there is a break, okay? And then you suffer again, and there is a break, and you suffer again, okay? But if the passion are strong, you enter to the unrelenting hell. The sufferings, all types of sufferings, never stop, continuously hurting you. You suffer all the time, okay? And the last kind is the worst kind, is 100% craving passions. They sink into the so-called Vasi hell. It's the deepest, the lowest hell. And it's really, really hard to get out, okay? If they have spoken ill of Mahayana teaching, blah, 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 and or if they have committed the 5 heinous crimes or the 10 major offenses, then they will be reborn in the Avas hell, in one world after another, throughout the 10 directions. If you know the Buddhist worldview, this Saha world is only one word. Okay, one universe. A Buddha's land has, I forgot, 3,000. Okay, 1,000 small world, 1,000 world, multiple 1,000 small world, and multiple 1,000 middle world. 1,000, 3,000. That would be okay. You calculate it. That is only one Buddha's world, and there are millions of Buddha, and each world has a hell. And so you go to this world's Avasi hell, and after finish, you go to the other world, the other universe, the other galaxy, the other Buddha's land. Never end, endless Avasi hell. Okay, sounds really bad, right? Now here, Buddha says that based on the compromise of our deluded passion and aspirational thought, there are roughly 7 types of combination and compromising, and then we would be destined to different place again. Is that place fixed, or what happened? Okay, Buddha say beings undergo this retribution exactly in accord with the evil karma they create. But though they have brought their retribution upon themselves, they will share the same fate in the same place with other beings who have created the same karma. Here is the answer, okay? You created the karma as hungry ghosts, and I also created my karma as hungry ghosts, and all of us created, we have different passion, different craving, right? And we have much less, only 30% of aspirational thought, 7% of desire, passion. Then we all created this, share the same karma as hungry ghosts. Then we will, after we die, we'll get together and create the realm of hungry ghosts. And we all suffered in the realm of hungry ghosts. And yet, we have different virtues and different merits, right? And different desire. So even though we are in the realm of hungry ghost, we have different fate different in life there. So the hungry ghosts, sometimes they will receive offering. Sometimes they just cannot get anything, even though I meant the same equal offering to all. We get different. We are all hungry ghosts, but we get different things. Okay, so here, Buddha answer, okay, these places are created by our karma. It's not a fixed place. And on top of that, all the people create the same karma will come together and, suffer or enjoy same place. And so it's not a fixed place, it's created by our karma, okay? But we can create it. So now we are human beings on earth, right? We all have the shared karma. So that's why we can live together on earth. This is Saha words on earth, but then we have different craving, different aspiration thought. So some people become Buddhist, some people become Christian. We have different religion, right? We have different aspiration thought. We want to go to different heaven, different paradise. At the same time, have, remember? Some people like woman, some people like men, some people like money, some people like fame. We're still craving for different things. At the same time, spiritually, we wanted to go up, have. So as a human, it's very crucial. Okay, now, 7 destination. Okay, I think I have to go faster. Okay, now Buddha, in a detailed way, explain the 7 destination, even though I've already listed out, right? 7 ways to compromise our passion and thought. Now, what does it look like? The 7 destination. First, the hell. There are 10 causes and the 6 retributions when we go to hell. How we go to hell. This is the list. You see the habits, the causes on the left. We really need to remember that, because more or less we have this habit, and we have to remind ourselves, when that happens, you immediately notice that, and you try your way through your practice, through your mantra, through your prostration or whatsoever. Stop it and be oriented. Okay, otherwise the consequence is on your right. Okay, if you have, you have a sexual desires as your habit, then the sexual intercourse will generate heat, and it become a fire or desire. When the fire of desires mean that they have damage power. Okay, you damage, and it depends. Okay, and in the history, okay, Western and Eastern history, because the king or the emperor, the sexual desire, a lot of bad things happen, right, in the history. And same thing in this world, people kill each other because of this sexual desire, and this fire of desire is actually very damaging. And now, how about the craving? Craving. I like this clock, then this clock attracts me, right? And in my mind, this object of clock and my mind always attract to each other like the magnet. Okay, then it will generate freezing cold, and it will eventually become water or greed. Okay, it's flood. Okay, and just go quicker. Okay, so arrogance. Okay, if you have arrogance, means you always oppress other people because you think you're higher. All people are lower than you. Whatever you done, even though it looks good, no, it's just lucky. coincidence. I'm still the best, right? Arrogance, and it's become the water of stupidity. Okay, you never see the truth because in your mind, you only see yourself. You never see other people. Okay, stupidity. Okay, and hatred. Eventually become a sharp word, sword, always hurting people, deceitfulness, and cunning thieves, and cheating. You're cheating people. You become a robbery, a murderer, and then you resentment. Okay, evil spirit. Resentment means you think you are not. My mom always loved my brother and not me enough. You keep that aversion in mind. Okay, you never love your mother, love your brother. Okay, so and how about wrong view? Okay, it always become a pit trap. Okay, you are facing scrutinized by people. Okay, because they have a wrong view, so people will scrutinize you all the time. And according to the sutra, if you want to see the detail, people will always arguing with you and every detail about your view or something. Okay, and how about unfairness? If you false accuse people all the time, will become a tiger. Okay, so means when we accuse of people, just make sure you know about the truth as much as you can. Okay, you cannot just accuse people based on, oh, I hear some people say, some people told me that she heard from some other people about that person. So you start to accuse that people, stinging people. Okay. She never spent money. She never donate money. How do you know? Right? Because she never buy me ice cream. Okay. So she's stinging. Okay. So this is ridiculous. Okay. This is false accusation. Okay. How about disputation? You're always concealing. You really try to, fight for something. Okay. Then you will, it will be like no shadows can be hide people in full sunlight, right? And then you always have secret enemy in your life. You don't know why. You don't know, you didn't do anything wrong, but why a lot of people just don't like you and blame you or something secretly. You don't know who they are. Okay, they just make the influence on you. Okay, so this 10 habits has become habits already. Okay, so when you found out, oh, I'm always arguing, I always feel like I'm not treating fairly, I feel like I'm always best people, and I'm craving for something, and we have to be aware. Okay, and you watch our fate, watch our karma encountering in our life that will match our habit. Okay, so and this 10 habit will keep repeating. Okay, then if we have that habit that will bring us to the health, in that 10 habits, that 10 causes will bring us to 6 kinds of, we will have a 6 kinds of retribution. Okay, all beings create karma through their 6 consciousness, and they experience retribution through their 6 faculties. How is it that the various retribution are experienced through the 6 faculties? Do you know what that means? As a human, right? We have faculties. I see you as a human. I see water is a transparent, drinkable water, right? But for ghosts, they see water as a stinging blood. For heavenly beings, they see water as crystal, diamond. Different faculties in different realms perceive the same material in a different way. And among the same realm, like you human, I human, right? So here in this room, I feel, do you feel hot? People just feel like, 法师, can we turn on the AC? Okay. I'm like, it's okay, right? And you feel so hot. Okay, finally we turn on the AC. You say, I say, okay, the standard is 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, maybe 78. You say, no, you should go to 60. I'm like, 60? If people who complain it's too cold, but you feel it's too hot, right? Why same skin, we perceive the temperature differently. Now, I say, no, I have to concern the majority, right? I say 78. Then you look at me. Fashi is very stingy. They only care about the money, the electricity, we have to pay more electric bill, right? Then you interpret me like I'm stingy, okay? I'm like, yeah, we have to save money because this money comes from a lot of people. I did not make this money, right? But you want to interpret me as in stingy people, okay? Nothing wrong with that. But this fashi in your mind is different than the fashi in the other people's mind. So you create your world. You're perceiving this world. Everybody is stingy. The temperature is too hot. The neighbor satisfied with the weather. And look at this place, too small. Okay, this Queens is so dirty. We should go to Manhattan, Manhattan is a better place. Queens, this place is dirty. And then, and unfortunately, you don't have enough money to buy the good apartment in Manhattan. So you suffer all the time because you feel like the Queens is not a good place. Okay. You see, our faculties perceive in a different way that even though it's the same objects around, but your life is different. So how we receive our retribution is actually depends, control by how our six faculty perceive, make perceptions. Okay, that's what, same thing in the hell. Okay, now it's not, I just roughly say that, okay, because this is the first example. I just want to tell you that what happened, how these six faculties perceptions are influenced by our habits, okay? Just the first example. When a being is about to die, he may first see fire raging throughout the worlds of the 10 directions. Okay, if you have the desire, upon his death, his spiritual awareness will ascend and then fall, riding downward on the wisp of smoke directly into the unlanterned hell. And the one of two things may happen, okay? If there is a light for the beings to see by, he may perceive all manner of ferocious creatures, which cause him to experience the extreme of fear. Or there may only be darkness and all will be silent. Nothing can be seen. The being then feels boundless terror. It's, for the eyes, okay, of seeing, okay. If you have you're seeing, okay, if your major karma is from seeing, okay, then after you die, this is what will happen. You will see fire everywhere. And then when you see light, and this is what happened. When you see darkness, this is what happened. And how it influenced the other 5 faculties. Okay, the raging fire he saw may overload his ear consciousness so that he is overwhelmed by the sounds of liquid and molten copper boiling in the cauldrons. Okay, how about the nose consciousness? The raging fire, okay, overload, and and he is overwhelmed by the smells of black smoke and purplish film, and the tongue, the scorching taste of a gruel of hot iron pellet. And how about body? You're overwhelmed by the sensation of hot ashes and blazing embers burning his body, and his mind consciousness will overwhelmed spurts of flame and showers of sparks flicking and bursting in the air. Anyway, a lot of things will happen if your major karma is from your seeing. Okay, then when you go to hell, when you die, you see a lot of fire, and the fire will influence the other 5 faculty. And so then you see the way you perceive the hell become like that. And how about if your karma is from the hearing, when you died, you will see gigantic waves around. And just like, you just like engulfed by the gigantic waves, and it will float into the other 6 faculties, and it will definitely influence how your 6 faculty perceive the hell, and vice versa. You have the smelling the poisonous gas, you see that, and you smell that first, and if you have testing karma, then you will, the iron net blazed first, you see that, and touching the great mountain enclosed, surrounded by you, you cannot get out. And how about cognitions, evil winds? Okay, so just give you a brief idea, even we all go to hell, but the karma, by seeing, by hearing, by smelling, tasting, touching, and cognition, all different karma bring it change how our 6 faculty to perceive the hell. Again, we have the same. If we have the same, we all have a seeing karma, then we will share the same type of hell. So that's why the 10 causes and the 6 retributions in the hell depends on how our karma change our 6 faculty, and then we perceive that hell differently. Okay, how about a ghost? There are 10 craving guilt and 10 categories of ghost. Okay, now this is what we did. Okay, we offense as violations, the precepts and the rules of conduct, violating the Bodhisattva past precepts, and slighting the Buddha's teaching about nirvana, and all other various offenses. Then we will go to the ghost realm. Okay, now 10. You see the craving. For example, the possessions of material things. And we will take form when we die, okay? We will take form whatever we made. And then we become so-called bizarre shape shifting ghost. Okay, it's look very odd. And our shape will change all the time, this type of ghost. Okay, if we have lust, craving for lust, then we will take form, when we die, and we see the wind, blowing the wind, and we would grasp it, and then we become a so-called out ghost. And there are 10 types of habits here. The deceitfulness, the hatreds, revengefulness, arrogance, fraud, wrong views, selfishness, and form factions. Okay, then we will grasp different form and become different type of ghost. Okay, here, you see the first 8. Okay, we keep repeating about that. You know that this kind of habit. How about selfishness? Okay, you always account about yourself. Okay, so eventually you will become attendant ghost, always serve people. And how about so-called form factions? Actually, you will see that habit among us. There are people like to group people together. They care about people, actually. They give you benefit. They care about you, but you are my people. Do you know what I mean? And if there is A has this form factions habit, A will create a group of people that follow him. And B has the same form factions habit, then he will drag another group of people. And these two group of people will think that they belong to different groups. And they work for their benefit. Okay. And they will, and you are my people, so you will become an antenna, try to find the other group is doing and tell me. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people have this, they are very influential, they always have different methods to attract people to follow them or be with them, and that they become a group with the same benefit. This, when they die, they meeting human as medium. They are still ghost, but they will possess or enter into a human's body and become messenger ghost. Sometimes when people have that ghost in body, and they'll tell you, how to cure people, and they have some special ability, but it's not because of they have having a super knowledge. It's because they are the ghost in the body and tell you what to do. Okay, so identify our own habit is a very important practice. We have to identify our practice first. Otherwise, we will think that this is your strength. Actually, this is your habit that you need to overcome, not your strength. Okay. So, Ananda, their defiled passions are the sole reasons for these beings which cause their fall into the realm of hells, where they are scorched, dried by the flame of passion, and from which they will emerge as hungry ghosts. This too is the consequences of their own delusions. If they were to become fully awakened, then with their wondrous and perfect understanding, they would know that fundamentally these retributions are not real at all. Okay, so Buddha keep emphasizing these hungry ghosts 10 categories, but still our karma created it. Okay, it's not real. Okay. Now, how about animals? 10 habitual tendency. Let's go quickly. Okay, the same thing. Okay, a lot of passions and thought. But here is a key. They will be reborn as animal after you you finish your hungry ghost karma. Because of the passions and thoughts, and when it's ended, we will be reborn as animals. who meet their former creditors to repay outstanding debts. What does that mean? Here, we always talk about the karmic debtor, right? And when we finish our ghost karma, then we will be born as an animal to pay back our debt. Okay, the same, okay. The left is the same habit, the same craving, okay? And after we become the ghost in the middle, after we finish the ghost realm, then we will be born as, depends on the habits. If you have possessions, craving for possessions, and after you become a bizarre ghost, and you will be born as an oz. And if you craving for sex, after you become drought ghosts, you will become unlucky creatures like crow, and like the deceitfulness. And then after you become animal ghost, you become fox, and all the way down. There are different types of animals you will be born to from different types of ghosts, from different habits or different craving. Okay, it's continuous. So from hell, you go to hell, and then you finally finish, and then you become a hungry ghost, and then finally you finish, then you become animal. You have to the job, the main mission of becoming an animal is to pay back your debt to someone. So actually, you see, if you are a cow, you have to do the farming, right? In the ancient time, you have to do the farming for your host, right? It's kind of a way of pay back your debt. Okay. Now, human beings, this is tricky. Half. Remember that? 10 karmic incarnations. We are human right now. Finally, we are human right now. It's a turning point because we can either go up or go down again, right? And so as a human, we have to take advantage of being human and then try to move up. Okay, now, very important. If you are animal, while paying their formal debts, right? We talk about that, are made to pay more than is just. They will be reborn as men to reclaim the differences. Okay, the way we become human, there are many ways. There's one way, if you are the cow, right? You farm for your predator, right? Farming, right? But if you pay more, then you will become human to take the credit back, okay? And if the creditors are men of good virtues and can repay the outstanding balance, they will keep their human state while doing so. So if you are the cow, the creditor is a very virtuous and rich man, okay? They will still remain a human, and you also become a human, and they will get back their debt. So for example, the rich man, they help the poor man. Sometimes is a way you pay back your debt. Sometimes donation. Sometimes people, people cheating on your money. Don't get angry just yet, because it may be that person is asked their debt back through this way. But since you are rich, you're a virtuous man. Okay, you lied to me, and then you steal my money, and I'm still rich. Okay. However, if they are men of little virtues, they will be reborn as animal to make good the amount received in excess. So if we are the creditor, right? Somebody is paying back our debt, their debt to us. don't ask too much. Don't ask for more. Otherwise, you will be reborn as an animal to pay back the extra you get. For example, the cow, right? The cow only in debt for you 10 years of farming in labor, right? After 10 years, done. But then you kill them, eat their meat. Now you owe that cow. And you have become animal to pay back this killing. Then here, you should know that if the indebtedness consists of money and labor, it will be canceled as soon as it has been reimbursed. But if in addition to recovering it, the creatures concerned are killed to provide food for the quit-debtor, this will start between debtor and quit-debtor, an endless round of mutual killing and eating, which can be brought to an end only by the practice of samatha, stillness of the mind, or when a Buddha appears in the world to teach them the Dharma. Neighbor, no matter we're human right now, right? A neighbor asks for more. We would rather ask for less. When you can take advantage of people, stop. Don't get more. When you can make a lot of money, don't try to, craving for more. When you can, don't ask for more. Otherwise, you have to pay back. The worst part is pay back as animal. Okay, I know it's hot. Somebody, the AC. Okay, now, when we remorse, it also up to our original habit or craving. Okay, and after we become an animal, we will be born as a human, and we have the personality that carry from that animal that is originally from our habit. For example, you might become a stubborn person. If you are a stubborn person, that means your habits possess craving for possessions, or probably you will have some animal habits, I don't know, habits, or low intelligence, vicious personality, or you have you become a manual workers or weak-willed manual laborers, or literary man, intelligent man, or accomplished people, or very expert. It all because your habit. Okay, now I have to go faster. Ancestors are celestial 10 types as well. I think that their main problem is they practice with a mistaken intent to fortify the physical body. They care about their physical body so much, they want to live longer, they want to live forever. So they choose some way. For example, they were taking special diet, they were eating herbs and fruits, okay, they were taking mineral products, they will fortify their bodies by regulating their functions. No matter they're moving or stilling, they're regulating their functions, or they were making good use of controlling their saliva, absorbing the essence of celestial bodies, reciting mantra, and observing prohibitions. Hey, you say, this is what we practice. Why it's become, not liberation, but become a ascetic master? That is, when you reciting mantra and observing precepts, what is your purpose? Is your purpose for bodhicitta, or is your purpose for living longer? That purpose, that intention decided what you will be reborn to. Okay, for internal union of energy, or following the principles of internal change. All this, if you do this practice, 10 practice, just want to, fortify your body to live longer, you will become a static master and live for a very long time. Okay. And why Buddha mentioned this? From here, you see the roadmap, from here to Buddhahood, it's already 55 stages on top of that. We can get sidetracked to different realms for a very long time if we don't change our karma, we don't change our habits. Okay, so that's and we really need to find our habits and craving. Okay, these people will just did not practice the correct samadhi, and then they just end this in this cycle of reverse. Now, heavenly beings, I use figure. Okay, Buddhist cosmology, from the emptiness to the wind, and to the wind, to the water, to the gold, and to the earth, and they become a Saha worlds, and this is a shimmery mountain, and these are heavens. Okay, so there are 28 heavens. Okay, on top of this this world, and so, and in a shorter, concise version, there are 3 realms: desire realm, form realm, and formless realm, and there are 9 grounds. Okay, so there are 6 realms, 6 grounds for desire realm, and 4 realms in the 4 stages is in the form realms, and 4 stages is in the formless realm. Okay, so, and we can further here. The desire realm has 6 heavens, okay? And if you are the stream in enter, okay, and you cut off your the wrong views, and you will become here and a stream internal, and or can go upward. If you can cut off the afflictions of the thought, then you can become once returner, means you come back to this desiring once. And for the form realm, there are 18 heavens. Now, there are 2 turning points diverge. When we, okay, this is the first 3 is the first dhyana, second dhyana, third dhyana. When we enter to the 4th dhyana, there is a diverge. You can either enter into the heaven of great fruition or the heaven of the cessation of cognition. And it's better not go to the heaven of cessation of cognition, because you will stay there for a very long time. Okay. And for the heaven of great fruition, so you have the bodhicitta in your time, and then you can move for upwards. And there are 5 heavens on top of that, and you will hit another turning point, or the diverge, the crossroad, before you enter into the formless realm. Okay, these are the turning point is actually, again, your bodhicitta as well. If you choose the bodhisattva path or choose the arhatship, you will split here before you enter into the so-called formless realm. And if you choose the arhatship, you move upward, and then you become the so-called non-returner, and you pass to the arhat, past the 4 formless heavens, and attain the arhatship. Okay. But now, if you want to go to the bodhisattva path, the Buddhahood, you better the 4 dhyana, the top, the highest heavens of the 4 dhyana, you have to initiate your bodhicitta and choose different paths to Buddhahood instead of to the heaven of formless, and then you go to the arhat. okay, for Mahayana teaching. Okay, so I quickly finish this Asuras. In between, okay, there are 4 types of Asura. Actually, Asuras exist in ghost realm, in human realms, in God heavenly realms, and in animal realms. Their tendency or their habits different. Okay, if they take the path of ghosts and devoting their strength and protecting Dharma and have the spiritual power to live in the air, they will be born from eggs, and the destiny is the ghost realm. Okay, if they are from heaven, and they dwell beneath the sun and the moon, and they will be born from the womb and become human, Ashura. Okay, if they are world commanding kings, very high kings, both powerful and fearless, and they will be born by the meta forces and will become the heavenly or the god or the deity. And if they are baser kind, the lower level kinds of Ashuras, they are born in deeper water caves in the middle of the oceans, and they will be born in the presence of moistures. And the destiny is the animal. So Ashura has their personality and depends on where they are from and how they are born, and to which destination, ghost, human, or deity, or animal, they are different. Okay, so finish. Buddha says the 7 destination, okay, from the hell to hungry ghost to the humans and to heavenly beings and to Ashurat and gods. All this are all submerged in the attributes of the conditioned world, some mundane world. Their diluted mental activity leads them to the rebirth in accordance with their karma, with our habit, all the craving things. Within the wandering's perfect understanding that is the fundamental unconditioned mind, these destinations are like mirage of flowers seen in the sky. They are not real. These destinations do not actually occupy any location. They are simply illusions. Even less do they signify anything real. Okay, see, the 6 realms or 7 destination is created by our karma. Even though we have a shared karma, we share the same realm. They are created by our karma. They are not real. And once we are enlightened, they are not there. Okay, now, again, we need to really, from here to the Buddhahood, 55 stages, don't get sidetracked to any realm or any destination. Otherwise, this cyclically births and deaths will endless. We'll never move forward. We'll never even get to the stage of dry wisdom, and let alone, and not the rest of 55 stages. So we really need to be careful about change. Okay, the 3 sequential stage. Okay, the refrain from eating the 5 plants of the onion groups, refrain from sexual desire and consuming alcohol or meat, kill the animal to eat the meat. And we have to train our mind against our habits, and so that our minds are less drifting to 6 kinds of perceived objects. This is very fundamental, very important. From today's talk, you will see how that habits, how the craving passions change our destination, change our rebirth. Okay, and that's really back to that. And also through the practice. Next, we will start to talk about, if you do not, whatever super nature power you may acquire from your practice still pertain to worldly achievement, if your habits are not cut off, you will fall into the realm of demons. And even if you then want to wipe out falsehood, you will only increase it. It's very important to know 50 demonic states from our 5 skandhas, 5 aggregates. And we will talk about that later. Today the time is up. We have some events. Okay. So next time I will try to explain the 55 demonic states out of 5 skandhas.